Namaste. This evening I have got three gentlemen here and we are discussing about the property market in Australia, particularly in Brisbane and Sydney. We have got CEO of Sahara Homes, Mr. James DIMOPOULOS.
Thank you.
I have got Sales Director of Azura Investments, Jason Paris, and Principal of Sahara Homes, Mr. AMIT POUDYAL.
Namaste.
Welcome to the show. And can we start with Namaste?
Yes,
Namaste.
Namaste. So let's start with James.
Yes.
How would you introduce Sahara Homes and how long has it been in operation?
Okay. Sahara Homes has been in operation for approximately 2.5 years. And I've only just recently joined as the CEO for the company. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I'm very proud to be part of the community and I'm looking forward to building the company right up. So yes.
Oh, that's great. It should have some experiences before joining Sahara Homes. And you should have seen some potential in developing this company in a broader way. And that may be one of the reasons you have recently started Sahara Homes services in Sydney as well, if I'm not wrong.
So yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Amit, would you like to share something about Sahara Homes? Because you have recently started your services from Sydney.
Yeah.
And you should have some plans for that.
Yeah.
So could you please elaborate on this?
Yeah, so to give you a bit of a background, I started Sahara Homes back in 2019. My background is I'm a chartered accountant. So I've worked in the industry, accounting industry for more than 17 years. And after that, I thought there was some value in passing on that knowledge through real estate. So my value proposition when I started Sahara Homes has always been to target the investment market. So when you have a look at real estate at the moment, there's two types of market. One, there's the owner-occupier market, the first-home buyer market, and the other is the investment market. My philosophy and my vision for Sahara Homes has always been to target the investment market because I can talk tax minimisation, I can talk retirement planning, I can talk, all these things that the investor look at. So that's how I started Sahara Homes, and that was the value. But what's happened in the last sort of 6 or 7 months is that the government is giving away handouts and $40,000 here and $30,000 there, and suddenly there's a lot of active first-home buyer, owner-occupiers in the market. So we've had to service that market as well. So at the moment, the proportion of the investors to the owner-occupiers is about 50-50. But as of starting in a couple of weeks, we are gearing more towards the investment market now, and that's where we come up with the concept of workshops. So James has background in running workshops for investors, and that's what we'll be introducing into the market very soon.
Okay. So talking about Sahara Homes, particularly in Sydney, as you mentioned, you are mostly focused on investments.
Yeah.
There are already other real estate agents or other companies who have been working, and they have also been saying that they are also focusing on investment properties. And why did you choose Sydney as a second destination or rather than Brisbane?
Yeah, look, I've been operating in Brisbane for about 2 years now. I guess because of my background and my knowledge, I got approached from a group in Sydney to set up an office. Obviously, Sydney is a very hot market at the moment. There's a lot of buyers. But having said that, there's not many investors in Sydney. There's more the first home buyers who want to get their first house. So we thought through our presence in Sydney, we could help those buyers in Sydney. So obviously, me being in Brisbane wouldn't be much value to serve the Sydney buyers. And that's where we have recently set up an office in Auburn. And it's a small little office, but it does its job. We're starting, we've got about 6 sales last month, which is a good number. And hence the reason why I started in Sydney. Now, there's no reason why the Sydney office cannot promote the Queensland market. So when there's two offices back and forth, you can promote each other. That's the reason why we... Look, regarding competition, I get all sorts of comments from people saying, look, there's good comments, there's bad comments, there's negative comments. I think any competition is healthy, as long as you're doing the right thing, as long as you're working
in the right
with
way,
ethics, as long as you have the integrity, as long as you have the intention to serve the customer and give them the right information and lead them on the right path. I think that's what you've got to do. Real estate is very broad. There's a lot of opportunities. If you're in real estate, you have the potential to make a lot of money. But at the same time, if you operate with integrity and you have build the relationship of trust, I think you will go a long way. I think that's more important to me. What the market says about me or anybody else in terms of competition, I think the more the better. I want more competition.
I'll come back to you and James shortly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before that, Jason, you are the sales director of Azura Investments, one of the renowned investments in Brisbane. And
Gold Coast, actually.
Gold Coast, actually.
Yeah.
And currently, we have been working with $2.8 billion present, right, in Gold Coast.
We're building the Imperial Square. It's a $2.8 billion precinct spread over 3 towers. So Tower 1, which is what we're down here to talk about, I think as a group, and I think AMIT and James have seen the opportunity of what that presents. And that is 145 1, 2 and 3 bedroom permanent apartments. And on top of that, it has a 200-room hotel.
Okay.
The hotel, or the benefits of the hotel, are also available to the permanent residents. We call it a mixed development. There's nothing like it in Australia at the moment.
So when will this development accomplish?
Well, we'll start. We've already started, actually. We've cleared the deck and the site's ready to go. We expect over the next month now we'll start to see a lot of heavy equipment on site and excavation work getting ready for the car park and start for the first tower.
You just mentioned that you used mixed development, right?
Yes.
So is there any specific reason for that?
We saw an opening, and people now, with the pandemic and COVID, more people are working from home. So we saw an opening in the marketplace that we started to really fine tune the mix of what we're offering in this as a project. So if anything has happened in COVID, it's been disruptive in the sense that people no longer feel they have to go to a beehive type environment where everybody comes in and works in a high stack. People can now work from home. So we've built this project with those sort of things in mind. High levels of service. We've got things like valet car parking. We've got things where, because there's a hotel on top, if you're busy and you're working, we've got a lot of medical fraternity people as well, orderlies right through, doctors, nurses that are residents and bought properties in the precinct. And from our end, we saw the opportunity there to really lift the service, but not at a price point that everyone else was expecting. For what we're offering, even if you're paying $12,000 a square metre, which you do in Sydney regularly for a lot of your projects, we're at $6,000 a square metre.
Okay.
Sydney and Melbourne market, when they come up and see our project and come and visit our display centre, they shake their hand. They just can't get close. They don't understand how we can offer what we're offering in that sort of value proposition.
Okay.
And your one bedroom is starting with $380,000.
$380,000 for a one bedroom. With all those amenities that you might like. We can across to those a bit later on if you like, and I can point some of those out.
Oh, okay. So if we compare with other developments, so is there any particular differences in this one?
Look, yeah, there are. The big difference to take in mind is, imagine living your life like you're on holiday or being serviced in a 4.5-star business hotel. You drive up, we have valet parking. You go into your room. If you decide that you'd like to have in-room dining, you make one call and your food's brought to your room. If you're busy and you're both busy working people and you want to have your apartment cleaned and serviced, again, it's just a phone call. You can organise that. You can do that 1 day a week, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days a week if you want. On the top floor of our project, of the precinct, called Regal Residences, is the first project. And it's, as I said to you before, it's a 3-tower precinct. And the first tower's on our top, we have this beautiful infinity pool that looks out all over Surfers Paradise. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful amenity, I guess, to have. There aren't many rooftop pools on the Gold Coast with that level of view.
James, on the same note what he mentioned, so if we talk about the housing market, because of these COVID things and so on going on, everything. So how is the housing market in Brisbane this time?
The Brisbane Gold Coast market, of course, southeast Queensland we call it, is very hot at the moment. What we're finding though is the lack of stock. and hence why Prestige referrals like the Azure Investment Division all of a sudden give us a good amount of stock that services our needs. So very hot market at the moment in Brisbane and the Gold Coast or the southeast Queensland. And we're seeing a lot of Southerners coming up. And you yourself, I think, Jason, in conversation with me, said that a lot of buyers are coming from Melbourne and Sydney and investing or buying, moving to live the lifestyle because it's a great lifestyle.
When you've got professionals like Amit that has the background in accounting, for example, he's constantly looking at projects then that will best fit for, you know, his people there and his client base in there. They want to maximise all the deductibility. And I think if you spend any time with Amit, you'll find out that we've gone through a lot of detail here to find there's some, our projects run cash flow positive. So from the time you own the project, it's a cash flow positive project. You don't have to tip any money in out of your pocket. Between the tax deductibility that Amit and his crew are able to advise where to get, and the rent and the new, you know, the newness of the project, the depreciation availability to everybody, you know, it's it works very, very well, particularly for investors.
As I already mentioned, in Sydney, a lot of competition is going on, unlike in Gold Coast as well. A lot of competition is going on, obviously. So how are you positioning yourself there?
We've got at Sahara Homes, we've got a foresight, and I know Amit mentioned the workshops. We've just got to become proactive and have a foresight on how to service our clients or our customers or potential customers or current customers. And hence why we're deviating towards that workshop, which of course teaches people, and I know you covered it, Amit, with fast tracking their mortgage. Everybody wants to pay their mortgage off. Now, whether you're looking at an investment in a high rise or an apartment, or you're looking at a house and land, it helps you, and we can show you the method of fast tracking a mortgage. We can also show you through the skills of creative mathematics, we call it. We can show people how they can reduce their tax. So if they're paying a lot of tax, we can show them how to minimise their tax.
I think that was the part that was attractive to us to want to partner up with Sahara Homes and Amit, was the fact that what they sort of presented to us is that there's product everywhere.
Correct.
But they've gone, and what they're doing for their clients is what Amit sort of said, with James's help, we're going to go out and find the very good product that we'll go and get and list. We're not trying to list everything.
Yeah.
We just want the right pieces of product that are going to work for our client base. Yeah. And that was the thing that interested us. And we just thought, gee, that's a really progressive way of thinking. All the agents that are out there, they're all fighting over trying to get as many listings as possible. It's very structured here. They're just cherry picking the very best projects that they can get and get out to their client base. And we just were delighted that we were picked by them, and we're really happy with the relationship.
And on the same token, the person who's building the $2.8 billion precinct, his name is Rob Battalotti. I've met him personally, and James has known him for 20 years. Okay. And for these guys to fly over to Sydney for us, spend $15,000 to $20,000 on a demo that they're going to do tomorrow at our summit, and that is just a token of good faith, and the relationship that we have with Jason and Rob and his team is a testament to all that. So I think that's the competitive edge that we have in the market, is that we are able to partner with prestige partners like Azure, and that's what we'll be continually doing every day to make sure that we bring value to the public.
Okay. Yeah. So would you like to add something on the same thing, like why invest in Gold Coast or in such properties?
Can I give you, would you like me to answer that?
Please,
currently, right now, if you do the numbers, and that's the good thing here working here, you get a lot of the emotion out the road. It's great working with Amit because he is an accountant and he's very numbers focused and driven. And it makes things much easier. Our properties here are top shelf, great fixtures, great thing, right in our CBD on the Gold Coast for under $6,000 a square metre.
Okay.
Incredible.
Okay, so that's all you have to say. You go in anywhere here where we're doing this interview, or in Sydney City at the moment, and you have a look around here, it's $14,000 a square metre for any of this project in town. Move out further, the further the rings move out from the CBD, the cheaper it becomes. But you don't have anywhere in Sydney where you're paying $6,000 a metre for the quality, and then you've got all the amenities that we're offering. Things like, even if you were prepared to pay, and I say to you right now, here's $12,000, $13,000, show me where you can live permanently, where you've got a doorman and concierge, where you've got valet parking, where you can have your homes serviced and a maid service, a hotel clean in your apartment, where you can order reduced at a discounted rate, in-room dining, infinity pool. On the roof, we've got a really top shelf gym. We've got a members residence. We've got a beautiful Zen garden on the roof as well, sauna and steam room. I mean, we have all the amenities. Again, all comes back, 6,000 square metres. So when you think from that point of view as an investor, you think to yourself, right, I want to buy an asset, I want to acquire it as cost effectively as I can. I want to make sure that asset continually has income. Well, then you buy into a place where the right price point is, but with all the benefits and amenities that are being offered. And that's what we're offering in this Regal Residence offering. And that's why I think when AMIT did the numbers, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, when I started the business, I wrote a book about how, when and where to invest in property, right? And in that book, what I talk about is, okay, there are certain fundamentals when you look at, I used to be a property analyst, so certain fundamentals I talk about. I said, look, the first thing you need to look at is government infrastructure spending. That's the first one. The second one is population growth. The third one is market cycle. The fourth one is demand and supply.
Yep.
When you look at all these things and what's happening in Queensland at the moment, infrastructure spending from the government is phenomenal. It's the same as Melbourne. $30 billion equal between Queensland and Victoria.
Yep.
Population growth, there was 19.2% population growth in Queensland last year. New South Wales, Victoria has negative population growth. Queensland has positive population growth. If you have a look at the market cycle, which indicates the value of the property, Brisbane is recovering, so it's going up.
Yep.
So all these economics fundamentals put together, and when you look at the price of properties there, it starts from, for an apartment, starts from $380,000, and a home and land package starts from $450,000. Right. You just can't go anywhere else in Australia where you can get those value.
Okay.
And as we said, I mean, right now, for a long time in the mid-90s, the Gold Coast had the spotlight on it as the place to invest in Australia. And then as the 90s came to a sort of head, all of a sudden became Sydney and the Olympic Games and this wonderful thing that happened, and Sydney kicked along there for 5. Then Melbourne got hold of it. And now, after all this pandemic and lockdown and everything else, all of a sudden the spotlight went back on the Gold Coast. Well, we've got the light now. We're not letting it go for the next 5 years, mate.
That's it.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, to sum up today's conversation, lastly, James, would you like to say something?
Look, for any potential client that's looking at coming out there, Sahara Homes will have the one-stop shop. We're actually currently setting up construction arms. We're setting up development arms. We're setting up the Prestige Alliance or referral arm, which is the marketing. Finance we've got, and of course, Sahara Homes. So from the inception to what it's going to be, our foresight is growth. Growth, and we're hiring good people. Ethics, as we said, the founder of the company is very ethical with integrity, and what happens out there, that gets out there in the field. So when that does, we end up getting alliances like this group. This is a very powerful group. This is nothing to sneeze at. To be able to send a model down for our campaign tomorrow night, and send the sales director, I'm sure he's got plenty to do back home. Yeah. So they allocate this for us, for Sahara Homes. So it just goes to show you the unity we've got, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you for making the time, mate.
My pleasure.
Yeah, would you like to say something at the end?
All I would add to that is that we're always on the lookout, and we want to deal with professionals. We want to have people that have vision and passion and have all the right elements. But one of the things we probably haven't spoken enough about is with the workshops that James and AMIT are running, in particular, about the education process, because this is a pretty daunting thing. You know, it's one of the first or second biggest purchases anyone is likely to make is either their first home and then their investment property. So I really like the idea of the education process that these guys are doing with their client base. We've already got a few Nepalese clients already, and I had the pleasure of meeting them, and they're just a good bunch of people. Never stop laughing, never stop smiling. And when you're in a precinct, we see a lot of grumpy people that come in, they're just happy to buy stuff, buy it as an investment and don't care. When you see other people that come in and actually enjoy the run, and they're coming through educated, and they're asking all the right questions as a result of where they've been steered here with AMIT. For us, we just was a an opportunity we couldn't say no to. So we're very pleased to be
And I
working
have
with
to
them.
say at this point
Yeah.
that this man put his money where his mouth is, and he's actually purchased one. So
Yeah.
that's how much he believes in the product.
Yeah, I bought one myself.
Yeah.
So that's powerful.
Yeah, well, it is. At the end of the day, we've had a bit of a phenomenon like that. I've been in this business a long time, and rarely do you see the channel partners or the introducers or the sellers actually take a position in a project. We've got something like 15 or 16 of our channel partner owners that have bought in. AMIT, from his one, after looking around, he went, "I'm in."
That's really nice.
Yeah. So it's a really good indication from our end that we've got the right product mix. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you like to say something?
Look, I really want to acknowledge you and thank you for the opportunity, Ganesh. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
giving us the time again. You know, James, thanks very much. Jason, thank
Pleasure.
you.
Always a pleasure.
Look, we are having a lot of inquiries from New South Wales buyers wanting to come to Queensland. So for those of us, for those of you who want to come in and say good day and inquire, the only thing I'll say is, you know, whether you deal with Sahara Homes or any other agent, make sure that you do your research, do your homework, and you know, trust someone who has that integrity. You know, not many people, most people in this industry want to go do some quick sales. It's your home, do your homework, do your research, and if you need any information, we're happy to help. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks
Namaste.
for having us. Namaste.